but so beautiful, like it's looking so good. Because in the 90s when it was about to be destroyed, like the roof had caved in, the floors were gone, the garden was not there. It was a pretty close call. That's Hazel and that's my dad holding on to her, and I can see my uncles in there. Everybody all piled in. That's really sweet. I'm Nicola Toki, but before I was a Toki, I was a Vallance. So this cottage was built by my great-grandfather, William Vallance, and my grandfather, Ernest Vallance, grew up in here. And my dad has really vivid memories of spending his holidays here with his brothers and his cousins and his family. So that's Granddad Ern when he was in the war, and that's him and his sister. And you know, I never got to meet Ern. He died long before I was born, when my dad was only probably 8 years old. And kind of a real shame, because he'd been to war, he sort of survived all of that, came home, had a farm in Waimahaka in Southland, and obviously he had married my Nana Jess and had the 3 boys at that stage, and then passed away of cancer when the boys were very young. So, you know, it was always a bit of a tragedy to me that he'd survived something as massive as a world war and then came home and missed out. Family have told me lots about Ernest over the years, and I have been told on a few occasions that I look like him. And it's nice to be here and feel that connection to him and his life, even though I never got the chance to meet him.
This is really springy.
But these rooms were the new rooms, because they had too many kids, so they had to keep building the house bigger. Now imagine that so when Papa stayed here with his brothers and all his cousins, there'd be 6 of them in here.
In this single bed.
In this bed, yeah. 6 of them, all tucked in and giggling, listening to the parents having a party outside. So it's really special for me to be able to bring Hunter here, because, you know, he's the next link in the chain. And for him to be able to I think what's special about this place is we all hear stories about our families back through the generations. But it's, particularly in New Zealand, it's very hard to hang on to a story, have a tangible example of that life. And so to be able to bring him here and show him this is where, you know, that side of his family began in New Zealand is pretty special indeed, because of course William came over from Scotland, and this was the start of our life in Aotearoa in New Zealand.
There's Papa and
Nana Jenny, yeah.
Well done, thank you.
Well done and thank you. The cottage was in trouble and we nearly lost it, and then some pretty amazing people decided to keep it and look after it. My granddad Ern was kind of infamous or famous around the place for playing the banjo. So he would play the banjo, and my Nana, his wife, she could play the piano accordion or the accordion. And I think our great-granddad William, he played the concertina. So yeah, it was always a house of music and laughter. I think the beauty of this place is that, yes, it's a reminder of, you know, early architecture for settlers in New Zealand, but actually, for me, it's a reminder of how simple and happy life can be. And they say that's why, my great-granddad said that's why he reckoned he lived so long, was he was contented, he was happy. And these days, we sometimes forget to make the most of what we've got, and I think this house tells that story in spades. Granddad came from Scotland to try his luck at gold. He worked with rock and he worked with steel in Alexandra, town of old. He built his house on Sanson Street of sun-dried bricks and slurry. When the reaper finally called to him, he was in no great hurry. For William Vallance was 98 when he finally closed his eyes. the restoration of his home, a testament to the wise. That little house I loved so much when I was just a lad will be cherished by all who come and see the home of my granddad. That was by my Uncle Billy, who was famous in this cottage for eating the mud bricks when he was a toddler, which probably wasn't the best. It's been a really special visit to be here in this house of laughter and music and determination and grit. And so it's time to go. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back. See you, family. See you next time.